What's going on, everybody? Payneblade back here again from Server 1 representing IC. And guys, today we're going to be doing the brand new showcase for the Kid Kakashi or Childhood Kakashi, whatever you want to call him. And I just want to let you guys know there already is a video out there with the stage 20 to 30 Abyss, which I actually end up using him pretty much the entire time. So you guys can actually watch that if you want to see some of his damage. But today we're going to strictly be focusing on the arena aspect. And as usual, we're going to go through the artwork, we're going to go through the skills, the gear, talismans, etc. And I'm going to give you my thought process essentially on how to use him and where to use him, and also whether he's actually a good character or not. Now, before I start this, I will say that when his skills leaked, I was totally intrigued by this character. Like, he's so unique. He had a lot of different things that a lot of characters didn't bring to the table, like for example affecting 2 different types of units rather than all units or just even 1 unit, and he just overall just had a really cool design to him. And then I started using him in Abyss, and I realized how underwhelming his power or his attacks were, especially for a power creep unit. So I just want to go over that as well too while we go along with this. And then also I'm going to show you the arena fights, which actually ends up doing a lot better. So I don't know whether it was just an Abyss thing or if it's you know, the fact that you're fighting units that are way more powerful. But normally that's not even a problem for some of the OG units. They still hit way harder than he did. But nonetheless, let's go through this, let's cover this up, let's go to the Shinobi list and actually get into him. So the first thing I did is I got him to 6 stars right away. There's only one other player who has him at 6 as well too, and that's shout out to Peanut. He does have him at 6. So he's actually got first place, I've got second, and that's okay. So let's start off with the actual artwork. Now, personally love this. I love this artwork. Like, I love the sword. I love the fact they actually gave him the sword to use rather than the Chidori. You know, the confidence that he exudes. Like, he's not the same Kakashi we know. This is a cocky Kakashi. This is like he knows he's good at what he does and has no problem showing it. So I love the color schematics. You know, this essentially fits Kakashi perfectly. It's the same as pretty much every other color that he has, the purples and the blues and the whites. And I think this is a great look for him as well too. All right, let's get into the stats. Now, as a T unit, he should be the jack of all trades, and in this case he really is. If you look at all of his stats going across the board here, he's in the 20s for everything except for critical suppression rate, which is very normal for T units, but everything else looks pretty good. So 26% crit damage, 33% crit rate, guard rate's really high, 32%. Of course, guys, as usual, my gamma does take into effect here, but everything here looks really good. So as a unit, he actually brings a lot to the table from a statistics perspective, and this is why I was so shocked when I saw the little damage that he was doing. Although his attack is kind of low at 42k, but that's a very normal amount for an SR at that level, right? Like, if you look at my Naruto Kage at 6 stars, he has 55k, but he's an A unit. So A units are meant to be damage dealers, but that, I mean, that's not that much far off. Like, he does almost triple the damage this Kakashi does. But anyways, let's get more into the rest of this. Link bonus. First one's very easy to do, guys. Yamato, Asuma, you can actually end up farming these guys. Very easy to pull. Brand new players, don't use your Shinobi coins to get these. Just use the frags and get them, or pull them through the summon banner, whichever summon banner. You might even get them for free from Legends. This one here's a little tougher. So Obito, a lot of people have been getting shafted by him, and I know this because I was one of those guys until I spent 65k. But there's a lot of people who spent quite a bit and have not got him yet. And honestly, defense is not the biggest deal in the world for a T unit, guys. So don't worry if you don't have him. You can still use him. You may not get the rainbow frame for this, but nonetheless, defense is the least of your concern. If it was an offensive thing, then I would say, okay, that's a problem. But defense, don't worry too much about it. HP matters a lot more, but you do need a UR here as well too. So you need the old school OG Heavy and Naruto. Naruto obviously easy to get. Old school Heavy you do need to pull, so for new players this might be a little harder to get, but for veteran players you probably have Heavy already, so this is a perfect fit for you. So realistically, Obito's the hardest one to get here, guys. Alright, Tribe Specialist, he's got one with Obito, and I'm hoping when they release Minato and Rin, that they each have a 3-man tribe with them, and that might change things up a little bit. But right now the 2-man tribe is 100 chance to burn, dealing X amount of damage, lowers all enemies damage increase rate, lowers enemies critical rate, and lowers guard rate. So essentially they're a debuffing team. So just an FYI on that. So I mean, not realistically something I would use ever, but I mean, you might find a use for it. I don't personally. Alright, let's go into, although it is one of the best looking tribes, I will say that. Alright, so let's go into the actual skill set. Alright, skills. So White Light Blade. At level 94, these are the numbers here, okay? So deals 100% plus 269.53 damage to one enemy, so single target. Power creep numbers. If the target is a defense unit, it will do 33.72% extra damage. Now, this is what I was talking about. I did damage to A from in Abyss, and I did 193k with a crit, and with no guard rate. So it made no sense, because I was looking for the guard rate everywhere and it did not pop up. So I don't know what happened there, but for some reason without it, and this was right at the beginning of the fight, so there's no buffs on A, there was nothing there on him that could have made me hit so little. So that confused me. But he does lower damage reduction rate by 10.93 for all enemies that are defense shinobi, and lowers damage increase rate by 17.86 for all attack shinobis. Now what that means, guys, is anyone who's a D, you'll hit harder. Anyone who's an A will hit for less on the opponent's side. So he makes, like I said before, he makes tanks less tanky and nukes hit a lot less, right? So that's kind of a unique thing, and that's kind of what attracted me here, especially for the A units hitting less in arena. That's a pretty key thing. All right, so we must carry out our mission. This is actually pretty good if you have a heavy T unit team. Now, in my live feed, I did show you guys the unit I would set him with. Like Shikamaru was a big one, T Itachi was another one, Sasuke Kirin. But if you look at that that live feed, you can actually find the team that I set up for arena. But this is really good because it boosts attack by 12.79% for all T units for the rest of the battle, and this can stack. So if so this is a pretty important one here, especially because you want this going off. So T units hit harder, like Itachi and Kirin. Alright, HPM, obviously being an SR. Genius Sun, boost all active allies damage increase rate by 12.79 if attacking first, which means you have to be faster than your opponent. Boost all active allies critical rate by if attacking first, so same scenario. So he'll give all active allies in that rotation during that fight these buffs as long as you are quicker than your opponent in terms of the speed cell. Alright, so just make sure you guys are faster. That's the only way these will activate. If you're not faster, these will not work, so that you completely lose a trait, making him a little less useful if you're not boosting up your speed. Damage increase rate, we got 94. Damage decrease rate, we got 94. Alright, so weapon, I got 70, 65, 55, 40. I mean, realistically, this doesn't really matter that much. The weapon and the health matter the most. Scrolls and talismans, I've got 50 and 50. I'm actually leveling up Obito right now, so I'm going to get these up later. And the vitality, you got 13 here because I have Sai. I don't even need this, to be honest, but if you don't have Sai, you might want to max this out. And then 20, 20, 20 for sure, because you want these to work, especially the arena one if you're going to use them in arena, and you want vitality to work because you want skill 2 to proc a lot more often. Alright, so let's actually look at a fight here, guys. So I did a fight today and I stopped after my third match because I found the perfect fight for you guys to look at in terms of his skill and his damage. So I'm going to show you that first, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish up my arena matches. But for now, so if we go to, let me see, I can show you what team I used him on, I think. There you go. That's the team I used him on right there. Okay, so, oh no, that's not the team, sorry. This is the team I used him on. The only difference here was I switched Datara for him. Okay, so he actually belongs in this T cell. The reason why I did it that way is he buffs T units attack, so I wanted him, and it doesn't have to be these in the same cell, I just had them here for that reason, just to show you guys. But he does T cell, T cell, T cell, oh sorry, T unit, T unit, T unit. All those T units will get an attack buff when he does a skill too, so just watch those T units cells. I put them in the same cell because you can actually see the frames get the attack up. Okay, so let's go back and actually watch that fight. Okay, so we'll go through it and I'll slow it down so you guys can actually see. Okay, so there we go. So this is where he starts doing his skill 2. So watch this and then watch Itachi's and Kirin's frame. They're going to get that buff. Okay. There you go, attack up, attack up. All three of them got attack up there. But nobody else that's not a T unit would have got attack up. But he gave these guys all attack. So that lasts for the rest of the battle. So now the next turn when they do their jutsu is going to hit a lot harder. Okay, so we're going to speed this up. So that's the thing, you guys definitely want to set him up with a lot of T units if you're a T unit heavy, especially server 6, and I mentioned this during my live feed. They love T and D units, so if you have Kakashi on that server, you're going to be a step ahead, and especially if you haven't buffed up, you're going to be a step ahead of the competition because, you know, when you have a heavy tank team that you want to fight, T units are going to surpass them and do really, really well. And because he brings debuffs to T units, or to A units and D units, especially like on a server like 6, the tanks are going to take a lot more damage. Alright, so let's slow this down here. So you guys can see the damage here that he does as an output. Now these are two AoE users with only 150% okay damage. He has 260%. So this is where I want to show you guys. So Kirin does 462k as the max, okay? $686k, so that was much better. All right, so in arena he seems to be doing a lot better. And then there's Sano for 326 non-crit. So 626k in arena is actually really good. So it looks like he does much better in arena, but he also gave himself that skill 2 buff, right? So that's going to be huge. And Kirin obviously did damage rate reduction down, and also gives attack up and DIR up. So a lot of that is going to be triggered from that specific, those specific buffs. So it looks like Kakashi's better in arena than he was in the PvE content that I use him for. Alright, so there you go. So you guys saw the damage there. So again, go back and look at my Abyss video, and you guys can see the damage difference between PvE and PvP. PvP he did really well. So all 3 matches actually he did really well. So I think between the 3 matches he did 400k here, 500k here, 680 here, but this is the only match he hit a D unit where he does 33% more damage. So this one here obviously shines the most. But again, in Abyss he was doing such little damage, and I'm not sure what was going on with that, but again, it could have been the units that I was fighting, but I was fighting D units and he was doing very, very little. But overall, guys, in arena he does shine. Again, I will show you the team that I set up on the live feed that I think would work really well if you want to use that. Where is that? Edit team. There it is. Go to team 2, and there you are. And the reason why this works so well is you have attack buff here with a Naruto, you have attack buff here with T Gaara, which is all allies, then you have a nuke, then you have damage reduction rate down, attack up and damage increase rate, attack up and crit then crit damage up if you have his LB2, and then attack up for T units, attack up for T units, stun and crit up and crit damage up, and then of course chakra. That is insane. Like, I did a calculation, I think it's close to 140% attack up with all of these, plus the crits that you get from these two. You're going to be doing a ton of damage, and plus Shika and Kirin have damage rate reduction down, so that's going to be a lot of utility. So this is a really, really hardcore team for Kakashi to be on, and he would serve very well here, guys. Alright, I hope this video helped out, guys. So Kakashi, for my reviews, great for PvP, honestly. He's been doing great for PvP. I've used him for a couple matches now, and he's solid. PvE I still have to test, but he was very unimpressive in Abyss, so I'm gonna try to test him out in other events next time. Hopefully we can try him in an FG with a T unit or a D unit again, and see how he does there. But overall, not a bad unit in terms of damage. Great unit for support, brings a lot to the table. So if you have him, get him up. If you need a power creep unit that supports your T units especially, he's fantastic. Alright guys, this is Payne. We'll be doing an Obito showcase probably within the next few days. I'm getting him maxed out now. I will tell you now, he hits like a Mack truck. He's crazy strong. So for all those that were worried about how good he was going to be, I can tell you now he's really, really good. Alright, anyways, this is Payne, guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.